Hi everyone, how's it all going? So this next episode of Car Project Central, I will be working on the Alfa still, and we are replacing the engine mount rubber at the top of the engine. So I've got a Powerflex polyurethane mount kit, and I'll be showing you the contents of this package soon, and I'll also show you where it is that we are replacing the rubber. Right, so this is what we're going to be installing today. We've got these two polyurethane bushes. It's actually a set of 4. They have a split down the middle here, but it's supposed to be one piece basically together. And this is what we're replacing the rubber with, this polyurethane version. You've also got this sleeve down the middle where the bolt is going to go through, and the sleeve is there to protect the polyurethane so that the bolt doesn't rub against polyurethane. We've also got the silicone assembly grease as well. This is just to make sure that this goes in nice and easy, and also it doesn't make any squeaky noises, doesn't wear out the bush. And finally we've got some washers. These washers are meant to go on the outside of these bushes, and that's to protect the bush from any lateral movement and make sure that the mount doesn't actually eat into the bush. Cool, and I can just show you where it is that we're supposed to be installing this. So I am talking about this upper engine mount here. It's pretty easy to uninstall, I believe. I think it's just those 2 bolts, but we'll see shortly. You can see a bit of corrosion here as well. I'm just going to tidy that up at the same time and make sure it looks nice and new. So we need to use a 15mm socket. Oops. There we go, we need to use a 15mm socket and just put it onto the bolt, like so, and then it should be pretty easy to crack open. Cool, so I've just cracked it open, and I'm just going to undo the rest of this, and then we just have to undo this one down here, right there, and this whole thing should really just come out pretty easily after that. Okay, so this bolt on the side here was pretty tough to crack. I ended up having to use my trolley jack handle along with my biggest wrench, biggest socket, in order to crack it. Okay, awesome. So I managed to get it out, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see that the inside of that bush is completely cracked. So that's why it's not really working, and it was actually moving around a little bit after driving the car, so it's definitely time for a new bush in there. Now I'm just going to have to try and figure out how to press out this old one, but apart from that it should be a pretty easy job to change this. Here's a slightly clearer view of what the issue is. So you can see there is a lot of movement there, and I can just wiggle it around with my hands, so that's not holding any engines in place, let's put it that way. So check this out, my mount was so bad that this completely came off, which is a bad thing because it wasn't holding the engine in place, but it's almost a good thing as well, because that means it's going to be a lot easier, that means it's going to be a lot easier to get this rubber out, because I can just cut it from the inside. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this one out, because this one's still pretty solid, but we'll figure out a way. Alright everyone, so about a week later, because I could not get these old bushes out, and luckily my friend at work has a hydraulic press, so he was able to help me out and get these old bushings out. So that's what they look like when they're out. It's just a press fit, just a very tight press fit, and this is what it looks like with the new bushings in. So the new bushings had to be pressed in as well, and we just used the silicone grease that came with the pack and just greased up the new bushings and put it in. I'm just going to paint some of this rust. So this was rusty, and I treated it with rust converter. I just haven't quite painted it yet, so I'm going to paint it now, and then we'll put it back in the car. Right, so I've slid the engine mount back in, and now it's just a matter of fitting the washers, and then after the washers we'll put the bolts through, and that should be all done. Bit of a tip here, so the long bolt is the one that goes on top, and the short bolt is the one that goes on the side here. And I've just put one of the supplied washers on this side so that it doesn't eat into the bushing. And you just need to kind of wiggle it around, make sure that it fits in properly, make sure that the bolt goes through properly as well. Okay everyone, so another tip as well for you guys, I would definitely do up this bolt first, because this is definitely the hardest one to get in, especially because it's on an angle and you don't really have a lot of room to work with over here. And then once you have that bolt in, don't tighten it too much, get this one in, get the top one in after, and then after you align everything up, make sure that the bolts are going in properly, then you tighten both sides. Alright, so that is how you change your upper engine mount into a polyurethane bush. Just going to take the car for a test drive now, should be all good. Catch you guys soon.